For the most part, this chapter was nearly giving the entirety of where Sabo was and why he didn't come to Ace's rescue, the amnesia. So that's, for the most part, in a nutshell, what was this chapter about. Now, if you watch the anime, which I think it was about a couple months ago now, there was an actual episode that almost depicted the exact events of Sabo finding out about Ace's death, where he's just like flipping out and everybody's looking at him like, what's wrong and shit like that. So I kind of feel like, oh shit, you know, the anime, they know what's going on there on point or whatever. That was cool of them. But basically, I mean, in a nutshell, it's like, legit reason you didn't fucking know you had amnesia. And honestly, that just must be devastating as fuck, and it showcases how the character has probably grown tremendously just from that event alone, snapping back from amnesia for the past 10 plus years or whatever, and then it's that your brother died. So it's kind of symbolic in a way. At the same time, Ace's death was symbolically saying, okay, you know, this is my death, this happened huge, you need to come, our little brother is alone. You can't leave him alone out there, so wake up, motherfucker, come on. But seeing his reaction, I mean, it was fucked up, it was sad as shit. I mean, just imagine your amnesia and you find out that your brother is dead, like, that's fucked up. So finding that out, cool stuff. I mean, it was, for the most part, we could guess somewhat of, you know, I mean, he wasn't aware, obviously. Sabo seemed like he did legitimately care about Ace and Luffy, so I didn't think it was just like, nah, fuck that motherfucker. Like, after what we've seen Sabo doing this arc, coming into this chapter, I didn't expect, like, if somebody told me, oh, this is what's gonna happen, you know, or Sabo's gonna basically tell us what happened, why he didn't save Ace, I would never thought he didn't give a fuck. I thought it had to be something where it's like he wasn't able to, whether he was on a mission, whether he was asleep, whether Dragon told him absolutely no, something. But speaking of Dragon, a lot of people are really good at theories with One Piece. I mean, for the longest time, everyone was saying Ivankov and Dragon, they were there with Sabo that day, they rescued Sabo. I mean, the foreshadowing, Oda did the foreshadowing very nicely. I mean, it was kind of obvious because we love this series, so we look at every little detail and whatnot. But granted, it was foreshadowed when he had that little conversation with Dragon back when he was like running away and he just was like, I hate my family, which once again goes into his character and what Sabo I think is going to be about. That even with amnesia, he still was like, I don't want to go back to my parents. That's the only thing I can remember. So that struck a chord with him, and that's definitely going to be him probably trying to take down some of the people, the higher-ups. Like, to him, probably the Celestial Dragons, all those higher-ups and whatnot. It's like, you motherfuckers need to come down because y'all suck. Then we also got the reason why Dragon basically gave him the okay to go to Dressrosa, how he was able to do so, because you gotta imagine at the end of the day that Revolutionary Army ain't gonna just say, okay, go on your own quest or whatever, and here's a couple of soldiers. And that also showcases Dragon's character. I mean, in the past, we've already seen he saved Luffy, you know, back in whatever the stuff with Smoker or whatnot and Buggy or whatever, so we could already tell that Dragon, well, that's an assumption that it was him or whatever, but regardless of what, he's not a bad guy, at least when it comes to his kid or whatever. So if he found out the relationship between the two of them or something, which, I mean, if he, let's just look at this for a second, because what I'm saying, I might actually eat my words right now. If he potentially knew the relationship between Luffy and Sabo and didn't tell Sabo when the war was going on, hey, that's your brother out there, then he's actually a dick. So I'm curious if Dragon knew the extent of the relationship between the two of them. I mean, who knows? And then seeing the flashback with Luffy and Sabo, touching, honestly, whatever, you know, touching, sad stuff. I mean, the way Luffy reacted like a kid, Sabo, that was pretty funny. Now, the whole scene with him leaving before Luffy woke up in the vivre card, even Zoro said it, very similar to Ace or whatever. I'm curious if this is foreshadowing for later events. I mean, I don't think Oda's gonna do exact something like you know, repetition of what we have with Marineford and all that, where Sabo gets captured. Maybe it'll be a different threat, and the vivre card warns them, and then they gotta go to him, or maybe vice versa. This time Sabo comes because Luffy's in danger. Imagine an arc where somebody like Luffy or whatever this time from the Straw Hats is in the same peril that Ace was with Marineford. Like, crazy. Speaking of, because I can, it's my channel, I can. What if, just curious, what would you guys think if it had been Usopp? And I know this is random as fuck, but I want to say it because I want to do it, because I want to talk about it. Usopp was in Ace's position during Marineford. Would you have felt sadder? Or how would you have felt about that, considering that we had all this backstory and we had all this time to be with Usopp? How would you have felt about that? I don't know. Just wanted to throw that in there. It's been something that's been on my mind for a while. Honestly, I think I would have been 10 times more sadder because I really like Usopp. I know a lot of people don't like him, but it would have been a hell of a lot more painful too. And the very ending when Sabo was talking to those crows, I'm guessing that's a zone user. Thought it could be Koala, but I think Koala already left with Hack back when he left, so I'm curious if that is a new member. I think if anything, Oda might make it that it's somebody that we already know, and that's why he kind of like showcased him. But if it's not somebody we already know, then I'm definitely guessing that's gonna be like some really cool ass motherfucker or a badass motherfucker, because it almost seems as though the crows were like simultaneously talking. I don't think we've seen that with zones where they could turn into multiple animals, so that's something different. Yeah, good chapter for the most part. I mean, it was giving us flashbacks and kind of context to a situation that we already understood. Ace wasn't able to be saved by Sabo. Sabo wasn't in the position to do so. It's just kind of finding out why, and kind of some of the big theories I've been floating around for a long time about, you know, Dragon saving Sabo. So yeah, it was a good chapter for the most part. 7 out of 10, 7.5, good shit. Let me know what you thought about this chapter. What did you think about the crows? Who you think that is? Is it somebody we know? A new character? Was it Koala? Again, I really don't think it was Koala, because again, I think she left with Hack, if I'm correct. And do you think this is any type of foreshadowing with Sabo giving the vivre card? Somebody's going to be in distress and the other one has to go save the other one. I think it won't be the same, but I think it's going to be either Luffy and them are in trouble, or Sabo's in trouble, and one of them got to go to the other. You know, what thoughts of the chapter? But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be amazing. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.